Welcome to another exciting episode of the IsaacBoyz podcast. Dwayne the Ghost alongside Terrorizing, coming at you guys with episode 95. Episode 95 of the podcast. Coming straight at you. Right before we got started, just got some terrible news. The actor that plays Thunderbolt Ross
in
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, William Hurt, sorry. Apparently he just passed away, so that is quite a bummer.
Yeah, because I know that, well, not I know, but there's a lot of speculations as to,
They're going to set up something.
some future plans for Marvel, and if that's the case,
They may have to recast him.
they're going to have to recast him.
But, yeah. William Hurt just passed away. Breaking news. And he was 71, which I didn't realize he was that old.
Well,
Acting for males has a lot longer lifespan than for females, it seems.
yeah.
Because even like older male actors, you see them stick around forever, and you never realize how old they are until.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, I saw Will Ferrell recently. Will Ferrell is old.
A lot of these guys are old. Old age is coming for all of us.
Yep.
But anywho, coming off
first goes out to the family. But getting into a more
lighter note. Yet another great week here at the lounge. We start the podcast off every week with this, but this VIVN train continues to roll, and it's rolling in the right direction.
That it is.
And that is uphill, and we're very grateful for that, because it doesn't have to be that way, but it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely that way, and we do appreciate all the support from everyone, both near and far. But
yeah, we do have some
news.
Well, we're gonna be updating the lounge with few things here and there. We haven't done it yet, so we haven't really gonna. But
yeah, I think we did kind of mention that we're gonna start.
We did, yeah,
a few weeks ago. But yeah, it's definitely in the works because things are growing here, and we need to have.
We need to expand.
Yeah. So expansion plans are on the horizon to maximize the space that we have to accommodate more people. And seeing as though COVID and all that stuff is going away.
Yeah. As of last time I checked, the numbers are below 50 territory-wide. That's between all three islands. So,
yeah. Dwindling to zero. So we're looking forward to that. But also some news to break. We finally, because I know you guys, especially if you follow the podcast, we've been talking about the Anime Club, us wanting to start one. We've been working hard at trying to get one running here. We know that there was one, of course, at UVI, and we're trying to work something out with them and everything. And it looks like we finally came to terms.
Finally broke some ground on that.
Yeah. It looks like the UVI Anime Club is going to be using the lounge as their meeting spot, at least bi-weekly right now.
But it's only a matter of time. It's going to be a permanent spot.
Yeah, I foresee it being, a permanent thing, barring any, major hiccups or anything. And the beautiful thing is that UVA has a shuttle now, so the shuttle will be taking them to the lounge and back safely, which is going to be great. It's something we always wanted here, get that thing going. It's only going to grow. With having the Anime Club here,
opens the doors for
so many different things. And we can do so many collaborative projects. We can do a lot of different things with them, with giveaways, with, of course, the showings here. The showings will be more like a movie style setup, There's a lot of great things that I foresee coming from that, and I'm glad everything finally worked out. And I'm looking forward to the first meeting is going to be this Tuesday. So a few days, looking forward to that. It's going to be great. Also, had a bit of a bummer this week. Some Yu-Gi-Oh cards went missing.
Yeah, we as you guys know, we started bringing in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they've been doing very well for us. And a lot of our customer base were looking forward to some packs that were supposed to come in, and they got lost in the mail,
unfortunately.
But the seller figured out what went wrong, and it's being situated. It's being taken care of,
being rectified.
So and these things happen. It's I just feel like when things are going well, the enemy's gonna find some way to make things,
Difficult.
difficult. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It's just a matter of plowing through that
And persevering, which
we do very well here.
we do pretty good here.
I know we talk about it every week. About staying the course, sticking with it.
Doing what you got to do.
It's amazing how many people we inspire, and we're just coming off of some interesting conversations even before we started the podcast with a few people as well. It's I don't know. It's just because we don't really see ourselves in that light. Like we're like role models or like someone people should look up to, but people do, and it's amazing where people find inspiration.
That's true.
And we're just us doing us. I mean, we're not putting on a show or anything. I feel like out of all my years of living, I am the more me than I've ever been.
There you go.
And by saying that, I mean like in life, people always want to put their best foot forward. Always want to put on a show for other people to make themselves look good and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like right now where I am in my life is like I'm the most me as I've ever been. I've been the most transparent I've ever been. You know what I mean? That's a good place to be. Just a good place to be. For you and for others. People know where they get when it comes
Know where
to
they
you.
stand. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
It's been cool. And then there's some more news, I guess. We potentially may be opening 7 days a week soon.
Yeah, we were playing with the idea of opening 7 days a week because
things are getting a little bit better now, so we can. It's gonna be more work, but it's gonna be less work.
Yeah.
If that even makes sense, but it's something that we're playing with the idea with. It's a potential, because there is room for there's more room for people.
There is room for realize like the day that we're closed is the day we're not making money, honestly.
Exactly.
So,
and as good as we're doing, we could be doing better. So that is
the only thing is now like people already know that we're closed on Thursdays, so to get the idea that hey, we're no longer closed on Thursdays, we're getting that idea out so people can start feeling that day. I expect if we do that, maybe the first 2 Thursdays might not be as busy as we think because but you never know.
Which is fine.
Which is fine as well.
But yeah, this is on the horizon, so we playing with the idea. It's not finalized yet, but we'll see. And then of course this week we're coming off of more parties as well.
Yep.
The parties just continue to roll, which is another reason why we're thinking about opening Thursdays, because Saturdays and Sundays are like in the future are going to be taken up with parties, it seems. So we got to
give people, our members, more days to utilize their membership.
100%.
Be fair to them and all that.
Which is great, we're the party scene seems to be, one of the key pillars of our operation here. Which is cool.
Yeah, we got 3 major pillars, but
yeah,
it's it just shows like it's the same thing we were talking about last week. It's like we put things in place, and people wonder, well, like why would you do that kind of thing, and then whenever everything that we put in place gets utilized, it just makes sense, and it just shows that we know what we're doing here. You know what I mean?
So
yeah,
that's cool.
Another thing I kind of thought of, not to throw anybody under the bus or point fingers or beat our chest or anything, but people are starting to differentiate us from the bus now.
The bus has been MIA, huh?
That's what I was gonna say first, but I was like, let me start with saying, people are differentiating us now.
Yeah, people are seeing the difference, because a lot of times we were being
mistaken,
confused or mistaken for them, and maybe that was people hesitating to come here because they think it'd be the same experience. But as people come here, they realize that we are very different.
We're a much different animal.
Yeah, and not to, again, like you said, not to kick anyone when they're down or anything, but
or beat our chest or saying we're better than anybody. It's just that was one of our hurdles that we had to overcome, because people are always confusing the two. And people are definitely not doing that now, and it shows. in our numbers. So
Definitely.
just wanted to throw that out there.
Yep. It's great. And with that, you're gonna move right into what's coming out this week.
It's interesting. There's a lot of games that I didn't even know were coming out. Games that I maybe would have been interested in. That apparently is coming out this week. So get into it. This week we have, I think there's a Grand Theft Auto expansion that's coming out this week on the 14th. And then we have also on the 14th a game called Phantom Breaker, which is a fighting game. Phantom Breaker Omnia, which, we definitely play a lot of fighting games, and this one was not on my radar. But when I saw that it was coming out this week and I checked it out, I was like, how come I never hear a lot of buzz about this game, but it looks like something I would play. So definitely, I don't know, well, maybe not definitely. I'm thinking about checking it out. It is out for all consoles, including Steam, so the price is right, maybe. And then, a few days after that is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is another 2D fighting game that looks pretty good. I was like, wow, these are 2 fighting games coming out this week, and it wasn't even on my radar, but looks like games I would play. This one obviously is more coming out on every console except Xbox. This seems a little personal. It's coming out on Switch, PlayStation, and on Steam. But just not on Xbox for whatever.
Which one is that?
Persona 4.
Got you.
Arena Ultimax. And then, the first set of booster courses for Mario Kart that we covered here on the podcast is coming out on the 17th. So if you guys are now, we have a lot of people that play Mario Kart here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they care about extra maps. Maybe they would. I'm it's $25 for like 50 maps. Like, do you even need 50 maps in
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, but to each his own, right?
Yep.
And then you have Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, which was featured in the State of Play, and we will be discussing a little bit further. But another Final Fantasy game that's it looks like Final Fantasy. They're doing other stuff other than the numbered games, like the just I'm not. I don't know too much about this one, but I'm guessing it has to do with maybe one of the Final Fantasies. Could be 7. It could be one of the. It's definitely one of the major Final Fantasies. They're probably doing like an origin story for a character or something. I'm not sure exactly. Those of you that are looking out for this game are probably screaming at me like, it's this. Do some research, but yep, that's what's coming out this week.
All right, and like you mentioned earlier, the PlayStation State of Play happened this past week as well, and a ton of really new IPs and new footage, and a lot of things that were announced or shown, I should say.
It's funny how PlayStation, like, the State of Play, and it's not just this one, but the last one too, I realized, they show a lot of games that are coming from multiple consoles.
Yeah. But they try to be the one to break the news first, kind of a thing.
Yeah. But it's, it's whatever. Like, to me, like, I don't know, it's like, State of Play, when you put on an event, it should be breaking
your own studio IPs.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with showing something that's come out for you, because if you're excited about that game, you're excited about that game. But I kind of, I don't know. I was looking for a little more groundbreaking stuff when it comes to the PlayStation stuff, like hopefully some kind of something about Wolverine, would have been nice.
I think we're a good ways out from that. Not even Spider-Man.
But they could.
I think we're like, and something like that. I think they would save for like an E3.
Probably instead of a State of Play. True. Good point. But anyway, they did break some news on some games that no one even knew were even in the works. So
yeah, for one, Exo Primal,
that
pretty weird game to me. It's I find it very odd. The world of this game, it's like if Dino Crisis and what was that game that flopped?
Anthem.
and Anthem had a baby.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it looks like, and it has some, some pretty cool elements, I guess, to it. But it's just weird that it's like a futuristic world, but they're just dropping there's portals that just drop dinosaurs into this futuristic world, and these suits people get into are kind of combating the dinosaurs, kind of a thing. Very odd. I find it odd. Maybe it's
Appealing to some.
yeah, but I mean it's like visually it looks cool. It looks like a fun multiplayer game. And you see that people like some Reinhardt-esque gameplay, holding up shields to block off hordes and hordes of dinosaurs while your teammates shoot them down.
Put it on Game Pass and we'll see what's up.
There you go. It seemed interesting. It seemed like a game that I would want to see more of to
Before we draw some conclusions.
before we draw any major conclusions. But it was one of those games that didn't see coming. But when I saw it, I was like, huh. I mean, I guess it's an attempt to do something different. So you can't knock.
Can't knock it. You know what I mean? It's any attempt at originality is welcomed in my book.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. And then, like you mentioned before, The Stranger of Paradise was also shown there as well. And they also showed some more gameplay of Forspoken.
Yep, which game looks great.
Forspoken, it looked like it's going to be a major hit for PlayStation. As far as one of those titles that are just going to, like one of those AAA titles that...
It's going to knock the socks off you.
Yeah.
The game visually looks beautiful. The action and the mechanics look, bonkers with like some of the spells and stuff that you do, and I don't know. It looks really, really good.
Fantastic job by who makes this one? Is it
I'm not sure.
I remember the studio that
Definitely could look more into that as it gets closer.
Yeah, but Forspoken, it's look like it's gonna be up there. It may even because as far as the exclusives for PlayStation go, I think Spider-Man's Miles Morales is definitely up there. You have your Horizon, that's definitely up there. You have your God of War, of course, that's definitely up there. But I think Forspoken is going to be another one that's going to, make its claim to the number one spot. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. And then another game that was announced that was, again, had no idea was coming out. Another fighting game as well. Is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
All-Star Battle.
Yeah.
Which essentially is a
JoJo fighting game.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into the anime, why not? I didn't look up enough gameplay to get. I'm not sure if it's a 2D fighting game or if it's your typical arena anime fighter.
Based on the footage I show, I think it might be 2D.
That's what I was thinking first, but then when I look at it again, I'm like, this potentially might be an anime fighter. I mean, I didn't get that behind back view that you usually get, but I don't know. It's got a unique art style that's kind of true to the anime. Yeah.
Initial thoughts? If you're into JoJo Bizarre Adventure, it should definitely be right up your alley.
Another way to beat up your friends, I guess.
Yeah, fighting games are on the rise, huh?
Speaking of which, Puerto Rico had their event. It's actually this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
This weekend or next weekend? I think it's next weekend, actually. Next weekend. Puerto Rico's having the First Attack guys. They're doing a Winter Clash event. Would have loved to go into that.
We're just about getting into spring, huh? But it's Winter Clash. But yeah, it would have been cool to get over there. But the numbers are still whatever. People are still concerned about these things.
Actually, Puerto Rico, all
it's all wide open right now. See,
would have been the perfect time.
And we're over here playing games.
Yep. Anywho,
moving right along. Another great release, Returnal.
Yeah, Returnal is
Returnal
bringing
Ascension,
out. Yeah, they're bringing out their the game's already out, but they're bringing out the co-op version.
Yeah.
The co-op
expansion,
I should say. So.
And if you're familiar with Returnal, it's it's one of those games where it's a bullet storm and you just gotta dodge as much as you can. you
put out
know,
as much damage as you can.
put as much DPS as you can. And now it's gonna be fun to see that experience now with co-op,
With friends, yep.
which I think is gonna be stellar. And based on the gameplay that they showed, I can see some good, co-op, combo capabilities and things like that. So
Yep, another big title for Sony, and they're just expanding on that as well. So
hats off for that. If you ever played it, Returnal, now you can play with friends. And that comes out on the 22nd of March, actually. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. It'll be cool to see how that goes. And then another game that no one saw coming, which looks pretty interesting. And from all I've gathered, people seem to be pretty hype about this for some reason. But it could be a good thing. Which is the Gundam Evolution.
Yep.
Which is the new Gundam game. Which there haven't been any Gundam Wing-esque games like for a while.
Yeah.
If you're not including,
the Dynasty Warriors. That was years ago now. But.
No, there was what's the one that Wolfman plays on Switch?
Oh, Super Robo Wars.
Super Robo. If you're not including that, there haven't been any real Gundam games for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
But the Gundam franchise is still pretty popular. People are still, big fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, still going. So this game, I think, just continues the franchise in a new way, which is it
kind of has an Overwatch look to it.
Mm-hmm. The art style seems very Overwatchy.
The gameplay seems very Overwatch. Like it's like different Gundams, and of course they have different moves, different special moves,
different build,
different weapons. So and you're it's a first person shooter. So you have your game types like your domination game types, probably like your team deathmatch and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's just like if you were to play a first person shooter, but you like Gundam, there you go. No one ever knew this game was even coming out, but here it is. Yeah, I don't know. I looking at it, I'm like, I don't even know what to think, to be honest, because like, I mean, Gundam Wing has always been a franchise that I've always had respect for, but never really dived too deep into it. So I'm guessing this game would appeal more for actual diehard Gundam Wing fans because the trailer is showing all the different types of Gundams, and I mean, I'm guessing like as the game gets bigger and more popular, they can always bring out DLC for even more Gundams. Because they haven't in the trailer that they left out a few big names. So I'm guessing they're either unlockable or they're going to be DLC. So it's a way for I'm not even sure who make this one, but it's a way for them to bring out somewhat of a competitive game that people might be interested in that already has a following. Because it's again being that type of arena shooter like Overwatch is. It's made for competitive play. So
yeah,
I can imagine that's what they're trying to get. That's the field they're trying to get into. So
it's gonna be cool to see. Yeah, we will definitely see. But yeah, looking forward to that. And it's not a PlayStation exclusive, is it? I don't think
it's not. No, it's coming out for all consoles.
It's coming for all consoles, so we'll definitely look out for that.
But it was on the State of Play. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, Game Pass,
It would be perfect on Game Pass, but every game would be perfect on Game Pass. Because you could literally say that about every game.
We can sit here and say that about every game. Because it's true, Game Pass is just that much of a game changer.
I mean, you get AAA games on Game Pass. It's just it gets you into the game. You know what I mean? It gets you the ability to play the game without having to purchase it. So it's like, for instance, they just added Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, they just added Guardians of the Galaxy,
which I've downloaded, but I still haven't played it yet.
Likewise.
Like every time we get home, I'm just like too tired to do anything, but just watch something. You know what I mean? And fall asleep watching something. It's amazing. Like every night I get home, I just turn something on and I fall asleep to it. I don't even have no energy to do anything much else. Days are just so busy and
yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah, But yeah, definitely. That's perfect example of a great game going to Game Pass because I've heard nothing but good things about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to check it out, but there's other games that pull my interest, so went that route. So
100%.
now I get a chance to play it. Looking forward to it. Who knows? Maybe we'll
Do a little review on it. Yeah,
maybe
for sure. And moving right into. We did mention it last week that we were gonna see Batman this week, and we did. And as you guys can see, the cup on the table. I broke down. I had to do it. For most big movie releases, I try to get a cup.
Collector's cup.
I got for every Avenger. I have the Iron Man cup for it, except for the first one, I think. But yeah, So yeah, say all that to say, of course, we saw Batman this week, the Batman, and
the Batman.
We're gonna go into a spoiler-free review of the movie. Of course, we don't want to spoil anything for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. But still fairly fresh, but we want to cover some things.
And I actually feel like this is a perfect movie to do this with, because I could talk so much about this movie that without spoiling it, I feel, for the most part.
Yeah.
Or at least I think I can. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how far we get.
But the Batman, my first impression is it's great movie.
Yep.
The movie on a whole was excellent. All the portrayals, I think, were well done.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman was good. Penguin was good. Batman was good. Alfred was good. Like, all the DC characters that were casted in this movie, that were portrayed, I think were well executed.
Mm-hmm.
With maybe one exception, Falcone maybe, but outside of that, I think everyone was solid.
I thought it was cool.
I mean, I love the actor. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with Falcone, they in every Batman, there's they cast someone to be him, and it's always completely different. But I kind of always have an expectation, but it's he doesn't really fit it. But I still like his portrayal of the character. So.
Yeah.
Outside of that, some of the things that I enjoyed the most were a lot of the reveals. For example, like a lot of the first times in this movie, I enjoyed. Like the first time you saw Batman, first Batman reveal, excellent, very well done, and it spoke a lot about the character and Batman and how he uses the shadows, not just to keep himself hidden, but also as he weaponizes the shadows, if you will.
Weaponizes fear.
Weaponizes fear. So that when the enemy, they see the shadows, they're not sure if Batman's there or not, kind of a thing.
I thought that was pretty cool as well.
Like in a Batman movie, we've never seen it done to this level.
It was a perfect, it was a perfect portrayal of that, because it's like, Batman's only one man. How can he, fight every crime that's going on? But it kind of shows that he doesn't really necessarily have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He picks and chooses his spots, but for the ones that he misses,
a lot of the villains kind of second guess themselves.
They second guess themselves because, hey,
is he in there? Is he not in there? And it was very well, portrayed in this movie. And even the bat signal, they talk about the bat signal, and it's it's them, it's Commissioner Gordon. Well, it's Gordon calling Batman, but it's also a warning to criminals that Batman's out, kind of a thing. So when criminals see it, they're like, is he coming for me? Is he, not? It was great. I really, really enjoyed that about that. Kind of show you like the mystique of Batman and how villains react to that. It was great. Another first time reveal that I enjoyed as well was the Batmobile. The first, well, not it's not the first time we saw the Batmobile.
But
it was the first time we saw the Batmobile function in action.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was definitely very well done.
It was done kind of the same like Batman, like
It was kind of
it's like an extension of him in a sense.
Yeah,
which was
it was great because no one saw it. Like I didn't see it coming. I didn't see that coming for that part. once the Batmobile was revealed and it revved up and everything, and it was great.
Very well done.
Great experience. Very well done. Even though the first time we saw the Riddler, I thought was excellent. Gave you some horror movie vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It was
pretty scary.
Didn't expect it, but it's just
pretty
like
creepy and not scary.
It was creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent, man. Like those are the first time reveals that I really, really enjoyed about this whole experience movie. So.
Yeah, I mean, me as well. I love the movie. I really liked the movie. I really liked the movie. There's a lot of things to really enjoy about the movie. Going into this movie, I thought I would have more criticisms because I think I kind of mentioned the last time in the last podcast, like, things I was kind of be looking out for, like, if it's Batman's first time, that relationship with him and Alfred, how does that work, all that kind of stuff. And all the things that I thought I would not have liked going into the movie, they were still kind of there, but it was so insignificant that it didn't really harm the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they mentioned in this was Batman's, it's early Batman, early year Batman, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like that never really played into the movie as much. Like,
it did have some.
There was like there is some elements which I'm gonna kind of go in. I don't know if I should go into. Where I could see that. That's okay. That makes sense. But I felt like it wasn't. It wasn't a big enough thing in the movie that affected the movie here or there. Like if that wasn't, like, for instance, if that was never mentioned,
you wouldn't get that impression.
You wouldn't get that impression.
Okay.
And it was like in the beginning of the movie they were kind of like harping on it a lot, like 2 years, blah blah blah, like they mentioned it a lot, and I was like, okay, I'm guessing there's a reason for it, but I kind of felt like there kind of really wasn't. There's that, and I think it was like I think I saw the direction they were trying to go with it. I don't even know if I should go into it too much, but because like Batman's approach to things was very blunt and very straightforward throughout the movie, and that kind of annoyed me. I was like, that's not how you do it, Batman. But then later in the movie,
you started to see him
more
Batman.
So I'm like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. It wasn't really emphasized as much as I kind of would have preferred. It was easy to miss, is what I'm saying. Like, because I was looking out for it, I think I was able to pick up on it. But someone that's just watched the movie, I think it was easy to miss. You know what I mean? It's because I kind of want to go into more, but I can't really say what I want to say. But yeah, that was one thing that I kind of noticed. And again, I think like another thing that I kind of didn't really care for the Bat outfit. Like, to me, if you like, the movie was great, but Pattinson as Batman was like, it was good. It was good enough. It got the job done, but I felt like if it was like any other person, I would still feel good about the movie. I felt, because a lot of what made this movie great was the art direction, the tone of the movie. Mm-hmm. A lot of those things made the movie like really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much Batman being Batman. Like, he was like, I don't know, like, again, he was like the least exciting thing for me in the movie.
Okay.
Like, if it was Ben Affleck's Batman, like if the roles were changed, it was Ben Affleck's Batman, I may have enjoyed it more because he was more pleasing on the eyes. Didn't really like the Bat outfit.
The Bat outfit, not just the Bat outfit, but everything with Batman seemed kind of just put together, kind of have a feel, which is what plays into the whole.
I guess, yeah.
New age. So the Bat outfit, it was okay. Comparing it to all the other ones, it's probably one of my least favorite ones, but that I still liked it in the sense that it reminded me of the Arkham games, the Arkham Knight. It reminded me of that kind of. It gave me that kind of a feel, but like right before, like an unfinished version of that, if you will.
I guess
the way the chess piece was and everything. I didn't like the gauntlets.
I didn't like the gauntlets on the hands.
I thought that would have played more into the movie, but he never.
So it's like, what's the point of it?
It's just kind of weird.
It's like he's rocking Black Widow's, and technically that's exactly what it was, because
He did utilize it one time.
So I was like, really? Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird to me. Like, why did they went with that design over?
It was a strange,
Strange choice.
Because
it was so visible. You couldn't miss it.
Yeah.
And they
didn't really play that much into the movie, but overall I didn't like the bat outfit. His collar and everything. I didn't love it, but
I didn't like, because I didn't like the fact that it had a collar on the cape.
The collar on the cape was different. It's a very old school choice, I feel.
I didn't like it.
To me,
I also didn't like the way his helmet was shaped. Like, it was like slim hair and like gave him like a really big head. Kind of like, I was like,
it's just movement.
Yeah, it's you can't really see that much in the cup. The cup, this picture looks great,
But I do know what you mean. He did look slim in the neck, which is why they went with the collar, to kind of beef up the neck area a little bit. But
I guess that makes sense. But
I didn't mind the collar. It was an old school choice, but it was okay. I didn't mind it. But again, everything he used seemed like kind of just put together. Like the Batmobile seemed a little bit unfinished, which I'm okay with. It still looked great. Even the Batcave looked a little, kind of unfinished. And again, his Bat outfit looked
kind of put together,
just thrown together. So hopefully in the future, when we see future iterations of this Batman, we see a more Batman. Does that make sense? They have been greenlit for sequels, so it's gonna be exciting to see.
Of course, the reveals at the end.
We don't know which direction they're gonna go with. I don't want to touch on it because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But there has been a Penguin show that's been greenlit.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. Because it's gonna be the same, Colin Farrell Penguin, which was a great Penguin.
Was a great
character. You could I didn't see Colin Farrell anywhere in there.
Nope. Very well done.
It was great. I rather enjoyed it. So to see more of that Penguin, I think that's gonna be cool. And it's gonna be a show, so I'm guessing there's gonna be little to no Batman in there. It's gonna be more about
about Penguin,
the crime and him kind of taking over, Gotham and all that stuff. So that's gonna be interesting to see. And then there was also a Arkham show that there's rumors to be. It's not official yet, but there's rumors that there's an Arkham show in the same universe that's also going to be on HBO Max as well, which is going to be more of a horror thriller,
psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Focus more on. I mean, DC is definitely trying to capitalize on the success that they're having with this one. And rightfully so, But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't want them to mess up something that was done so brilliantly with,
Snyderverse.
I don't want another version of that. It's like, I feel like this movie was so well done. It could have been a standalone, and I would be fine with that. But now, because this movie is, is going to be the new DC,
I don't think it's going to be the DCEU moving forward, because those DC, cinematic universe projects are still going out.
Exactly. So it kind of makes things a little weird.
It's good. I think they're trying to build two separate universes, which is going to be like a Batman universe, kind of like with Sony with Spider-Man. Batman is Sony's, is DC's Spider-Man.
100%.
So they're trying to build as much of that world, it seems, and they're gonna use this,
as a launch.
Which is gonna be interesting, because I thought the launching point. Well, I thought, because I heard something like this was gonna happen, but I thought it was gonna be done off of the last Joker movie. Which this doesn't even play. Like it's not even.
No, it's not even part of.
Because there was already talks of a Joker sequel coming out, but is that still gonna happen?
Probably not.
I don't see it now. It's gonna be way too confusing and convoluted. So, as it stands, it looks like trying to build a Batman cinematic universe with this, launching off of this Batman.
Snyderverse.
And you're still gonna have your Snyderverse, which is gonna be more of your Justice League type projects.
Justice League, and you have Black Adam coming out. You have this Flash movie.
Mm-hmm.
All in the same universe. Aquaman 2.
Mm-hmm. Which recently all got pushed back.
Yep.
Aquaman, Black Adam, all those got pushed back. And Shazam has been
Pushed up.
So we'll see. And Flash also got pushed back as well. Yeah, so the DC Cinematic Universe, I mean, it's starting to get a little steam, but they're obviously way behind when it comes to, you know, certain things with
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, comparing them to Marvel. And even though that is the case, I still want them to
do well.
To not focus on what Marvel's doing and just do their own thing.
Yes, I think that's the best thing they can do to be successful is just
do your
carve your own path.
Tell the stories you want to tell. You know, work on the projects you want to work on, and don't
focus on what Marvel.
Don't focus on what Marvel's doing, because Marvel's about to get really crazy. I think when the Multiverse of Madness drops, which I can't wait for.
Moon Knight looks great too.
The movie looks absolutely stellar.
Moon Knight as well.
Which I'm actually pretty hype about Moon Knight. For so many reasons. One is it's an interesting character. Two, visually he looks very comic book accurate.
He looks, it's exactly what he looked like in the comic book.
Down to the glowing eyes and all.
Which was an interesting choice, but yeah, I like it.
It's great. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to see the story and how it plays out and how it leads to, you know, how it ties
into the MCU. Yeah.
With the MCU. It's gonna be good stuff, man.
Good time to be a comic book fan.
Definitely a good time to be a comic book fan.
But yeah,
looking forward to all of it.
Batman, great movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Share your thoughts. You know, if you agree with some of the stuff, if you've seen Batman, you agree with some of the stuff. You know, you definitely feel free to share the thoughts. Whether on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can share it in the comments, or if you're listening to this on Spotify, you could still. There is
Nope, can't leave comments there.
No, but you could, I guess, direct message us. Let us know how you feel.
There you go.
So.
And moving right along, we're gonna roll into fight talk. But before we, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna roll into fight talk. But somewhere during fight talk, I'll drop a good ideas, and it'll just so it can happen organically. I'll let you know when it comes up. But this week, and although it wasn't a major card on paper, it was still a very banger heavy card, and maybe a lot of, like, you know, relatively unknown to most. This card had some great fights.
This card had some bangers.
From the opening fight on, like, there was like a lot of fights that were, you know, comeback fights where people were losing.
There was a lot of those,
and they came back, you know, last minute.
So it's like all the fights. I mean, the fight I enjoyed the least was the main event. Well, I'm not say the least.
The main event was a little lackluster, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, let's dive into this.
The first one was your boy Chukwi versus
Chukwi.
How do you pronounce that Russian name? Marazanov.
Sure.
Which, when this fight started, you know, Chukwi was doing his thing. You know, you could see that Chukwi was very sharp. He was making good reads. He was landing good. He was landing at will, pretty much. He was doing his thing. And then out of nowhere, Chukwi got cracked with a knee. And then some follow-up punches, and he was out. So, you know, Marzanov was losing for the most part of the fight. And Chukwi came back. And then he came back and put Chukwi on his back, put him out. And that was pretty much all she wrote for that. And then the next one.
You have Chris Montino.
Which, if you guys remember, Chris Montino was the human punching bag.
For Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah,
with the bright green hair.
Yeah. Coming with a little multicolor hair again as well this time. Looks like that's gonna be his thing, but
Guido Canetti.
Guido Canetti did not.
And the thing is, Canetti's he's pretty. He's an older guy. I think he's like in his 40s.
Yeah. But he throws with everything, huh?
He puts everything behind it, and he was just cracked. Like again, continue showing he's got that chin, but the referee's not gonna stay there and let you take all that damage. They're gonna call the fight.
Yeah. So
which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, he was getting pieced up
early too.
Early on, the referee said, "Nope, we're not doing this again."
No, not this song and dance again. Nope.
That can't be good. Which he was very upset. He was protesting it.
You can't,
and I get where he's coming from, but at the same time,
you gotta block, dude. Like you can't just stay there and take punches. Defend yourself at all times. He was just getting, and like the one shot that you can see when the referee jumped in, he was like looking off into space while he was getting hit with his hands out. Like more were following up. Like the referee's like saved him from some permanent damage, man.
Yeah, definitely not a good look at all. It was
not the way you want to start your UFC career, because now he's 0-2, and both were like
he just wouldn't protect himself.
It's like maybe work with the D League for a little bit, because I'm sure he's skilled. Like he's got heart. He's definitely got that, but I don't want to see him take so much more damage like that anymore. It's not good. It's not good for you. You're a young guy. You shouldn't be taking that kind of damage.
Of course.
That's what you signed up for, right? But whatever.
And then your boy
Dalcha Langjambula, who, again, like pronouncing the name.
And he was doing great. He was doing exceptional on this. I actually thought he was going to win this.
He was. I like his wrestling defense, which was if you're going to wrestle me, you're going to have to go through some punches. Yeah. Every time the guy goes for his legs, he was cracking him and he was hurting him. Mm-hmm. He was hitting him with some big shots. Yep. And he was doing exactly what you need to do to offset some wrestling. And I was like, more people need to do this. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what more people need to do.
To combat the wrestling, but...
What does he do? He begins to wrestle himself, and it was like, dude, like the guy you're wrestling is... That's what he's doing that for. He's trying to wrestle you for a reason. Mm-hmm. So he played right into the guy's hand, and he went straight into a guillotine and got submitted in the first round. In a fight he was winning.
Which is unfortunate, but...
Unfortunate, because, you can see he's starting to put it together. He's looking good. He's looking better. Mm-hmm. But you got to follow up looking better with a win, and he didn't do that, so...
It's unfortunate.
Then Miranda Maverick got her win. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot to speak there. She did get a submission.
Against Sabina Moiso. Mm-hmm. And then Damian Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Another submission win for him.
Coming off the Contender Series. Was this... no, it wasn't his debut, was it?
No, it wasn't his debut. He got a submission win in his debut. And I think it's another submission
win for him, yeah. Against
looking good.
Camila Kirk. Mm-hmm. So, good for him. And that was in the second round, so... Yep. Looked good. And then Trevin Jones, another good fighter, fighting Basharat, yeah. Which Trevin Jones is looking good for this fight, but after the second round he started to slow down a bit, and Basharat just continued to do his thing, continued to work.
And in the post-fight interview, I guess he was dealing with a loss. Trevin Jones.
Yeah, he was a teammate or something like that.
I'm not sure exactly.
I don't remember what it was, but someone he recently lost someone, and that's what he was kind of fighting for, and
kind of tough to go through that.
Yeah, and then lose, but these things do happen. You kind of don't want to put the kind of pressure on yourself, but
yeah, you definitely don't.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pretty bad for him. And then JJ Aldrich fought Jillian Robertson.
JJ does what JJ does.
Yep. And I don't mean this in any bad way, but both women not in the top 10. I mean, you can tell by their friends, they're still fighting the way women fought a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And the women MMA game has evolved so much since then.
There's a lot of women that are kind of left behind and they don't realize it yet. Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like both of them were kind of showing that. I don't mean that in any bad way, and I'm just saying that there's a certain level once you hit the top 5, top 10 in the women's division
and that wasn't it.
Yeah. But a good win for JJ Aldrich. She's still young too, so she has
She has
a lot of room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
She's 11-4, so she has a lot of room to grow.
And then Matthew Summonsberger versus AJ Fletcher. I thought Fletcher would have got this. He was coming off the contender. He got a nice flying knee victory.
Mm-hmm.
Teammates with Poirier from the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to see what he could do here, but Summonsberger just showing that he can gut it out a little bit more. And I think he did bloody up at the end of the fight. AJ was pretty cut up. Actually, they both were kind of banged up. It was a nice. It was a scrappy back and forth fight, but Summonsberger, edged him out and got the unanimous decision.
So good for him.
And then we get into the good stuff.
Yeah, my favorite fight of the night
By far.
was, of course, Alex Pereira versus Bruno Silva, which you mentioned last week. Alex Pereira being the last guy to beat Israel Adesanya. This is back
in one Blachowicz.
Yeah, in kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
In kickboxing, so he's making his UFC run.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's his second or third fight in the UFC.
No, second fight.
Sure, maybe it's third. Second or third fight in the UFC. Going up against a very tough test against Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva
is no joke.
Coming off of 5 straight wins.
Mm-hmm.
This fight was going to show where Pereira was.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not disappoint.
There's levels
striking.
There's levels of the striking thing, and his striking is...
It's up there.
It's crazy up there.
He doesn't only land, but he can land with some power behind it. And off of like little space. Very short
stuff. And
shot.
he cracks hard.
Oh, yeah,
he kicks to the body hard. He kicks to the legs hard. He has a nice left hook that, if you look at all his knockouts, that's his money. That left hook is his moneymaker, and it was on display in this fight as well. But the funny thing about this fight is, like, you're going to say all this about Alex Perez. You think Bruno Silva was a punching bag. He was not.
Nope. Bruno Silva did not.
Came to fight, and he was cracking Alex Pereira
Mm-hmm.
with some shots.
Yep.
And it was looking dicey there for a second.
It was.
I wanted 5 rounds of this.
I agree.
Because Bruno Silva was no slouch.
No pushover.
There was no pushover. He was like, look, you're going to have to really take me out of here if you want to beat me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he
tough. He had his moments, so he did land on Pereira a few times, but
Pereira
there was definitely a power difference.
Pereira was hurting him. Like, that's just a man you don't want to fight. He was hurting him. He was hurting Bruno. If
Bruno Silva was any less of a man, he'd be out of there
a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
His toughness was
definitely on display.
Because he was like, at the end of the fight, he literally just dropped. Usually they do that little celebration. Yeah, I win. Whether you made it to the end and you put your arms up like to celebrate. He couldn't do that. He was in too much pain. He was just beat up. Alex Pereira is no joke.
It's gonna be interesting to see if he works his way up to fight Izzy again. That's gonna be a mega fight.
It's gonna be a huge fight, and believe it,
it's a real risk. It's
a real threat because he has knocked out Adesanya before, and what he was doing in this fight, it looks like he could knock out Adesanya again, in my opinion. I mean, I don't want to, be that guy that want to forget everything Adesanya has done.
Mm-hmm.
Adesanya is a great champion, but man, Alex just looked so scary, so damn. Like, just talking about it gives me chills because his striking was on full display, and it was on point, and it was nasty. It was dirty. Good. Like,
even though it went to decision, there was action throughout all 3 rounds.
Like,
it wasn't a boring fight.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't get that from Adesanya. I don't get that feeling from Adesanya. That's what scares me. Mm-hmm. Adesanya is good and he's great and he can he can do some crazy stuff and whip out something that's amazing and make you talk about it. But Alex was just hurting Bruno the whole way through. And Adesanya doesn't do that. You know what I mean? He doesn't hurt you the whole way through. Like, sometimes he waits. He sets traps,
mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. But it's like Pereira just knows, he knows his striking is better than yours, and he's just gonna put it on you.
100%. So it's gonna be interesting to see where he lands and what they do with him next. But
yeah, he's
working his way up to the top 10.
He's very green when it comes to MMA because he's not He was kickboxing before. He had some room to grow. I think he has one loss. I'm guessing it's his first fight because he's on the 4-fight win streak.
He's on a tear, yeah. So,
but yeah, I think obviously his Achilles heel is going to be probably grappling, but Bruno Silva is a strong grappler and he couldn't do anything with him. So it's like Alex is like I could talk about this guy forever, but it's like he's what I wanted to see in the UFC in a long time. Really high level striking, and can defend takedowns. Because that's like with all the high level strikers in the UFC, the biggest Achilles heel has always been the takedowns. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't seem to be the case with this guy. And the level of striking is, it's still yet to be seen. He's still, there's still some other people in that division that could test his wrestling even further.
Like Chimaev.
Chimaev would be
like
what a fight would that be.
What's the other guy that we're comparing to Chimaev a couple weeks ago? Forgot his name, but him and Pereira would be a great fight too as well. You know what I'm talking about, right? Don't worry about it. But anyhow,
Alex Pereira, awesome fighter. Definitely somebody to look out for
sure. Then Drew Dober went against Terrence McKinney, which Terrence McKinney was coming off of a 2 week. Was it 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Turnaround, quick turnaround. He's his last fight was untouched, so he was able to make a quick turnaround.
And he's, this was his third fight in the UFC. His first 2 fights, barely made it. He got finishes in both.
And he's been 100% finish rate in all his fights.
11 and I know 11-0. I think he was at the time.
Well, it's 11-4 actually.
Oh, sorry. He was 11-3 at the time.
Yeah, he was 11-3 at the time. But all his finishes were 100% finish rate. But he was undefeated in the UFC.
Yes.
Which he is, unfortunately, he has been defeated now. Going up against Drew Dober, which when the round started, he was cracking Drew Dober.
He hit Drew Dober with a nasty knee, and then he was hurting him.
Some punches, he got back up, and he landed another knee.
He was hurting he needed to finish it in that because he was dumping a lot of energy too. Yeah. So
he needed to take his time and finish the fight, which he
didn't, and then Drew Dober just outwitted him, pretty much.
Just made the turnaround, toughed it out, and just showed that he's a veteran, and there's levels to this.
Mm-hmm. Got him down, started cracking him, and he just looked like he didn't want to be in there anymore.
Yeah, he really hurt him, and he did not want to be in there anymore. Which it's unfortunate because
he's still young.
So he has a lot of way to go, and this is a good fight for him to show that you can't always be the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's other guys that are gonna be the hammer. But he said that he's gonna be a champion by next year, and the way he fights, he definitely can be. He has a very awkward style to him, but when he lands, it just hurts. Even Drew Dober said,
as hard as he's been hit in his UFC career, and it's like Drew Dober has been around for a long time.
Yep. So it's cool to see, but hopefully he bounces back, he learns from this, and comes back better. And then another one of my favorite fights of the night.
Yeah, this was a good one too.
Khalil Roundtree.
Khalil Roundtree Jr. versus Carl Robertson.
Just another scary guy, huh?
Very scary person. Khalil Roundtree. He's always been, scary. Like you always look at him. I could always look at him and be like, that's a guy that has some really ill intentions. And then that side kick he did to that guy's knee was like, okay, you're really messed up in the head kind of person. And he got a lot of flack for it. But this fight,
he just showed more of his violent side.
Just showed more of his violent side.
Which I follow him on Instagram. So he does a lot of things that are like not violent. Like he plays like this steel drum thingy. I think he's starting some art or a clothing line or something like that. He does a lot of cool things. It's a cool guy, and those that don't know his story, guy used to be overweight.
He used
to be 300 pounds.
Yeah. He said he was suicidal.
Yep, depressed and everything. But he found his way through MMA, through the Ultimate Fighter. Gave him a second life, and he's now look where he's at. And he was, Well, let's get into the fight, and then I'll get into some of the things he said afterwards, which is kind of going to lead into the good ideas. But the fight was as violent as being expected. Every time Roundtree threw anything, it was with ill intent. Like, from the punches to the kicks, like, you could tell that he
wanted to
hurt Carl Robertson. And Carl Robertson was game. he was thrown back.
He was thrown back. He was not no slouch for sure.
But then he got cracked with a punch.
He got dropped, and then
there was a bit of a scramble. Some ground and pound landed, but while he was trying to get up,
Khalil got up and just soccer kicked him in the stomach.
Yeah,
like
which kind of lifted him off the ground a little bit.
Like literally threw him into the cage with a kick. It was nasty to watch.
Yep, and then he went for a stomp after that, which he kind of slipped.
He tried to stomp him after. It wasn't really a stomp. It was more like a push kick kind of stomp because technically you're not supposed to stomp. So it was like, but how he did it, it was kind of going outwards as opposed to going straight down, like stomping on. Mm-hmm. So I guess it was, if it landed, I guess they would have to draw the conclusion of, was it legal or not?
But based on those strikes,
it was done. It was done. Yeah, he was there to hurt him.
Even after the fight, Carl Robinson was still on the ground, like just kind of like Bruno Silva.
Just hurt.
Just on the ground, just hurt. Just in pain.
Just saying, these aren't guys that are playing a sport here. These are guys that are hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't pay me enough money to fight these people.
Yep. Which Khalil Rountree was asked, in the post-fight interview about, if what would he say to his, the other Khalil Rountrees out there that are 300 pounds overweight and like what would you say to them, like a young person, on these his message to that he said was so powerful that I had to, like, it resonated with me, and I kind of wrote it down just so I could do it justice. And it's
verbatim.
It's a good message for people that are because we just came through a rough couple of years, right? And people are going through it and whatnot. But man, for people that are depressed or going through it, this is the message from Khalil Rountree, and he got pretty emotional while he was saying it. I highly recommend you guys go watch that clip. But his message to himself or the other Khalil Rountrees out there is that your life matters, and that you can be special. You can be strong. You can be seen. And life can be beautiful if you make it that way. And that it's worth it to stick around, even if it's just for one more day. And to me, that's as simple as it was. And he even said it, like, it may sound cliche, but for anyone that's going through it, to hear these words, it
makes all the difference in the world.
It resonates. And I implore anyone that, going through a hard time or going through, any challenge that they're going through, and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, is just to find some comfort in these words. And I highly recommend you guys go, check out that clip. Or you can even replay this as a good idea. It's really important that we, as a human collective, be there for the ones that are maybe not having the best time being alive, So, and then being someone that, is coming off some depression, these last 2 years of COVID and being unemployed and, going through the many different challenges, these words do resonate.
Yeah.
And it's so true that,
sure.
Life can definitely be beautiful if you make it that way. It doesn't have to be the way that everyone says it is, It can be beautiful for you if you make it that way. So, more of the story, or the good ideas for the day, or the good word of the day is that your life matters. So, that was a good message from Khalil Rountree that I'm just echoing here because it's such a powerful message, and I think we all need to hear it.
Very well said.
Yes, sir. Moving on into another fight, Sadiq Youssef versus Alex Caceres, which I'm a huge Alex Caceres fan. That's Bruce Leroy.
Since day one.
For those that are unaware, you remember Bruce Leroy from Ultimate Fighter. That's who I'm talking about. And he was coming off another, I think, a 5-fight win streak as well.
Yeah, he had a 5-fight win streak, yeah.
Fighting Sadiq Youssef, and unfortunately, Youssef had his number.
Derailed the 5 fights.
Mm-hmm. Derailed the hype train a little bit. I mean, you could tell that Caceres, he had a game plan early, and it was the same game plan he had from his last fight, which was to throw the strikes to get in with the clinch, to get on the person's back and sub him out. And he got really close in the first round against Youssef, but Youssef was tough. He gutted through it.
And once he was onto it,
that was it. He tried to get back there a few more times, but Youssef just wouldn't let him. And he just kept landing and kept chewing up his lead leg, which he did not address at any point during the fight. He kept getting his lead leg kick, and he just wouldn't check any, wouldn't get out of the way, nothing. And it cost him the fight ultimately. So I do want to see more from Alex Caceres, but he has to go back to the drawing board of that because he was not addressing those leg kicks at all. So if you want to beat him, kick his leg and keep him off your back. And then
another one of my favorite fights of the night.
Was it? Well, yeah.
Not really fights of the night, but performance.
Song Yadong is just no joke, huh?
Yeah, and we called it. Call it if you remember last week. I said it like just that's just 100%.
I feel so bad for Marlon Moraes. And they interviewed him before the fight, and he was saying all the right things, right? He was saying, he just wants to win, and winning is the most important thing to him more than the money and the belt and all that. And it's like, okay, let's see you get it done, but there's just no easy fights for him. Huh? I mean, UFC just not doing this guy any favors.
Marlon Moraes, right?
He's just getting all the tough fights, and unfortunately, I think they might get rid of him soon. He's just been on a skid.
He's due a break. Like give him somebody that's easy.
Yeah, they should give him someone outside of the top 50. They need to drop his number first of all, so he can fight those guys.
Yes.
Keeping him so high up, it's not doing him any favors.
Nope.
He has to, and he's a great fighter. You can tell he's sharp. He knows what he's doing in there, and he cracks. But man, if he's not being the aggressor, it's tough for him, man.
Yadong just put some dong on him.
Yadong was not playing no games with this guy.
Knocked him on the first round.
Yep.
Yadong he just when he hits you, it looks like you see guys just like react differently with it. Like he just hits.
He cracks
hard.
Without question.
And this fight was no different. I mean he's been in some wars as well. He's gone the distance before, but Yadong, man, when he gets you, he gets you.
Yep.
You don't want to stand in the way of those. Not at all.
And then the main event, which was a little bit disappointing in a sense. I mean, it wasn't because, it was Thiago Silva was getting some kind of momentum, but it was too little too late, unfortunately.
Magomed Ankalaev, I mean, he was fighting a very safe fight. He was being a counter fighter the entire fight. Like, he's kind of waiting for Silva to throw something, and then he would throw something, and he was like...
It was kind of boring. Like, the first round, they threw less than 20 strikes, both of them, exactly. Collectively. It was like 5 and 7 or something like that for an entire round, which was... I don't like fights like that.
I don't like people in a fight like that. I mean, I get it. It's a path to victory, like counter fighting. I get it, but it's like... I don't know. It takes two to tango. You know what I mean? So it's like... And there was a game plan for Thiago to win. Like Ankalaev, he got his leg chewed up a little bit there. And I felt like if Thiago was throwing
if he just sat down, if he sat on some of those leg kicks,
harder leg kicks, because once he threw the leg kick, the punches come in. So you just got to know, okay, I'm gonna throw this kick as hard as I can, but I'm also gonna defend with everything I got. That's all he needed to do. And I think he could have really messed up Ankalaev's leg, but he did throw a lot of kicks, but it was.
Just tapping, just making contact.
Like the first two were like really hard, and then after that it was just making contact. Because I think he was trying to kick him to make him react, to bait him. Ankalaev just stayed safe for the most of the fight. He always was. Every time Thiago got aggressive and came at him, he just got out of the way, and he landed. He landed and did enough to get a victory, I guess. So
yeah, so good for him. Ankalaev moves up in the light heavyweight division, which has some killers in there. So we'll see, who they put Ankalaev with against next and how he fares with those guys. But he's definitely a big favorite in that division. But this weekend, UFC is moving back to London.
Yep,
this is the London card that it's been talked about for a while, and it looks pretty good. In your main event, you're looking at Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall, which Aspinall is undefeated in the UFC as well. He's been tearing through. He's 11-2 total record. But against Alexander Volkov, Volkov has all the experience, huh?
Mm-hmm.
With 34-9. But
It's gonna be 34-10.
I think so too. And then you have Arnold Allen, which is another hype train that everyone's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Some are saying it's the next Conor McGregor, which I don't know why they keep making that. I guess because he's from Ireland, but that's about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever to me, but
Yeah, he doesn't have the charisma, I think, and maybe he has the Irish following because those guys, ride for their guys, but I don't see him as the next Conor McGregor, not even close. He's going up against Dan Hooker, which that's gonna be a real test for him.
mm-hmm.
Gonna see if he's the real deal or not. Which they're not doing him any favors by giving him that fight. So we'll see. But someone that could potentially be the next Conor McGregor, I think.
Paddy Pimblett,
Paddy the Batty. He's also on this card. He's going up against
Vargas.
Yeah, Rodrigo Vargas. That's gonna be an interesting fight. I think Paddy might get that one. We'll the word's not out yet on Paddy whether he's gonna be great or not.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that he can crack. We do know he can he can take
He's
damage.
good on the mic.
He's good on the mic, but let's see. I want to see him get a few wins, back to back, and then we can talk. But he's definitely has the charisma, so looking forward to that. You also got Gunnar Nelson on here as well. So that's gonna be.
I haven't seen Gunnar in a minute.
Yeah,
so
he's a great fighter. He's had some misses.
Yeah.
But he's always had the potential to be, excellent.
Yeah. And then you have Shalim Abrahimov versus some guy. So
yeah.
Nikola Krylov against Paul Craig, which is gonna be a great one.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a good fight. But the fight I'm looking forward to is Jay Herbert versus Mike Davis, because Jay Herbert, a lot of people don't know him, but I've seen him. I think this is probably my third time watching him fight in UFC, and he does really well.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a guy that can strike and grapple as good as anybody.
At a high level.
He kind of maybe that's giving him too much props. Kind of reminds me of Oliveira in a sense. Like he's like really good striking and really good on the ground. Like he is as well-rounded MMA fighter as he gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just know I think Jay Herbert's gonna walk away with that one.
He
is from England, so you don't really see him fight a lot.
Yeah.
But every time I see him, I always remember.
Jack Shore is fighting as well.
Yep.
Molly McCain is fighting. So.
Luana Carolina. Remember her?
Mm-hmm. I think Molly Meatball should get it done. And then who else? Any notable fights on there?
Mike
Grundy.
Mm-hmm. Against Americani.
There you go.
Didn't realize Americani was there.
Me either. I almost skipped over him.
Mm-hmm.
So there. So yeah, decent card. London card. It's gonna be another UFC fight night, so it's a non-pay-per-view. So
this looks like it's gonna be a long one too, because there's a lot of prelims and there's a 6-fight main card when it's usually 5. So.
Yep. But the good thing is that we are now on Eastern Standard Time, so.
Mm-hmm. And also, being that it's an England card, is it going to be in the day? What time is?
That's a good point.
Usually the cards usually are daytime cards.
They usually put them on daytime cards. Oh yeah, look at that. The main card starts 4:00.
Yep. Called it.
So yeah, the prelims are starting 1 in the afternoon, and then the main card starts. That's gonna be interesting here at the lounge because Saturdays are busy.
What date? What's the date?
19th. It's next week.
Okay, there's no party.
No, there's no party that week.
Okay.
But
wait.
The 19th?
Yes, there is. Anywho.
Oh, that's what the one we just. Oh, that's. Well, we'll see how that goes.
We will figure that one out.
We'll figure this out, but I mean, if we don't watch it, then we can always watch the card later.
Definitely gonna watch it though.
Definitely gonna watch the card to bring it to you guys.
Oh, we'll probably just have it out. Oh, but she was thinking. Oh, well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I think that's another episode in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely thank you guys for continuing to tune in and continue to ride with us. We'll continue to improve our product. We'll continue to get better, and continue to bring you guys what you guys love, which is this nerd culture, this fight culture, and everything in between. So with that, you guys continue to be good to each other. Stay safe out there. IsaacBoyz out.